whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today, but if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on through our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, Gavin.Rich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel GBoot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace. On this day in history, November 22nd, 1963, President John F. Kennedy was assassinated nearly 59 years ago while in Dallas, Texas, riding in a motorcade with Governor Connolly, John Connolly, the governor of Texas, the First Lady, and John Connolly's wife. Lee Harvey Oswald, the accused gunman, was shot and killed 2 days later after he worked at the Texas School Book Depository, according to the official report, though others, as well as theories have spawned about that the president was killed in a conspiracy, which, as of today, more than 57% of Americans believe that there was a conspiracy to kill the president.
In a motorcade through. Today marks the 59th anniversary of the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. He was shot and killed November 22nd in 1963 while riding in a motorcade through Dallas. The accused gunman, Lee Harvey Oswald, was shot and killed 2 days after the assassination, events that changed the course of American history. President Kennedy had not announced a second for run office, but he was in Texas at time to help gain support.
Also today in history, November 22nd, 1986, in the world of sports, Mike Tyson becomes the youngest heavyweight champion in boxing history. Mike took on Trevor Berbick to win the WBC heavyweight title at just 20 years old.
Both judges. Now listen, if you get in close, when I tell you to break your stop punch and step back clean. Any question from the challenger, Chief Second? Any question from the champion or Chief Second? All right, let's get it on. Come on.
Mode now. Trevor not trying to do anything offensively. Tyson has him under control. Left hook light. Watch for the uppercut. There it is. Didn't land, but he has the idea. Wow, with the right hand is Mike. Mike throwing caution to the wind. He's in total command in this fight right now. We're only in round 2, and the heavyweight champ already reeling is Trevor Berbick. You know, Mike Tyson gets fined $5,000 for wearing black trunks. He is the challenger here tonight, believe it or not. He looks like the champion right now, and it may not be too long before he wears that belt. Wild on the breaking news lane warns Trevor about it. Trevor trying to do all he can, but what he's not doing is holding off Mike with a left. And you see the light left hook by Mike in the right hand. Mike knows he can hurt him. He had him down once in this round, wants to drop him again in a hurry. Usually what Tyson does is take that little dip, come with the uppercut, and really bang to the body underneath the heart or crush the right side of the rib cage. Instead, he goes to the body downstairs, catches him with the right hand upstairs. 2 good rights in there. Caught in a bit of a camera switch there, and another right hand landed. See Mike just clawing. He's trying to line up that right hand, and he'll be right behind it with a left hook. Mike doesn't throw just one punch. When he gets a guy in real trouble, he usually knows how to finish. Look at these shots. All landing to the head of Trevor Berbick. It's just a matter of time before Mike gets the clean shot. Berbick hanging on like Mitch Green did. Bone crusher Smith. Straight jab by Mike Tyson. 20 years old, Mike Tyson on his way to becoming one of the youngest heavyweight champions of all time. Bangs the body. Wow, with that uppercut is Tyson. Catches him with a right left hook, and he goes down. He goes down. He should be able to get up from this. His legs may be shut. They are. As Trevor Berbick falls back in the rope, I don't know if he's going to be able to continue. He's got the heart, but his body won't let him do what his mind wants to. And he's counted out. It'll be scored as a knockout. Mills Lane counted him out to 10. It's all over. We've got a brand new heavyweight champion of the world, Mike Tyson. Well, Trevor Berbick was brave in the early going of round one. And from about the midway point in round one, he couldn't do anything. There's Jimmy Jacobs in there. Bill Caton also works with him. A very happy Don King. Kevin Rooney, congratulations.
You know that for Mike Tyson, this was gonna be a short-lived heavyweight reign after he was knocked out by Buster Douglas on February 10th, 1990. But those are your two history lessons for today, ladies and gentlemen. The assassination of President John F. Kennedy and Mike Tyson becoming the heavyweight champion of the world 23 years after the assassination of JFK. And as a matter of fact, most Americans, I don't think we have really come to grips in terms with President Kennedy's assassination because of the history that occurred as a result of that. The moments in history, the things in life that changed as a result of his assassination, the escalation of the Vietnam War, the assassinations of other political individuals such as Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., and his own brother Bobby Kennedy, and Sr. in 1968. Ladies and gentlemen. But that's it for your history lesson. It is Random Topic Tuesdays. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Our topics for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, are as follows. Suspect in gay-friendly nightclub shooting named. Charles Barkley opens his mouth to shit on the black community again. And huge age gap shows up in AARP poll of Warnock versus Walker runoff. All this and more, ladies and gentlemen. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. In the meantime, we've asked if you would, as you see in the ticker at the bottom, since the channel is not monetized, that you would monetize this channel. This is the hottest live stream in the cosmos, ladies and gentlemen, and I am your host, your gracious servant, G. Rich. Before we begin, we also ask if you would please pay attention to the following. If you would like to purchase my book, The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America, I'd greatly appreciate that. You can go to Kindle and get that now. Also, if you would like to advertise with our channel, you can hit me up on gavin.grich1@gmail.com. Subscribe to our Patreon, ladies and gentlemen. Also, go to our Facebook page at Commonwealth Cause. Order some Creole seasoning at NornisCreoleBlends.com. And of course, check out our songs, Gotta Get On Up, and Video Soul, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll go ahead and get started right now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to play a theme song as always, although I'm risking a copyright strike for my own song at that. Can you tell, New Orleans? But it's worth it since everybody loves the song. I don't like to miss show without it, but we'll go ahead and get started.
Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the. Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the. Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the. Now 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you're breathing, you're achieving. So if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the floor, baby. Yeah, gotta get on the floor, baby. Come on, baby, gotta get on the floor, baby. Feel the groove, get on the floor.
What's up, y'all? Feel the groove, get on the floor. We gotta get on up. It's Tuesday, the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, and I have a lot of shivving to give for you. It's nice and tough. Oh, after this dinner, you're gonna be stuffed. What's up? I was trying to come up with some stuff to rhyme, but I don't know what the hell a shivving is. But at any rate, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to I'm tired. Welcome to the live stream, guys. A lot's been going on in my family and just in life, and you have to forgive me if I'm a little exhausted, but I've been working like a slave in a salt mine, and it's been tough. But the joy is I get to come on and be with you all. I won't make this a long broadcast, but we'll go ahead and get started with the topics. But I do want to acknowledge Darius from Atlanta, Danielle Meyer, Derek Bailey, and One Who Cares. I thank you all for being here. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Let's talk about the major news that occurred over the weekend. There was a shooting that took place at a club known as Club Q, and apparently a gunman walked into the Club Q on Saturday night and took the lives of 5 individuals and wounded 17 others. The alleged gunman who stands accused is a man by the name of Anderson Lee Aldrich, who petitioned a Texas court. There's some history I have here. Back in 2016, he petitioned a Texas court to adopt his current name in 2016, shortly before turning 16. The petition was submitted by Brink's grandparents, at the time his legal guardians, who says he had not had contact with his father for several years. Now, this same gunman, alleged gunman, had also some run-ins with the law in the past. Apparently, a couple of years ago, he was accused, and this was on Inside Edition, allegedly of threatening to blow up his home after an argument with his mother. There was a video that was shown that had been obtained by local media outlets, including the Gazette out in Colorado Springs, that appeared to show Aldrich threatening to blow his home up to holy hell in a confrontation with police last year. This was in June of 2021 when Aldrich's mother called in the bomb threat incident, and Aldrich showed pictures of himself and video of himself wearing body armor and a helmet. Oddly enough, he was not charged with any felonies in that case. But what is interesting at this nightclub that happened, an Army veteran by the name of Richard Ferrero came in and stopped the shooting not the shooter, but subdued the shooter along with the Thomas James, and prevented him from injuring more people, according to Police Chief Adrian Vasquez of the Colorado Springs Police Department. Ferrero spoke with news media outlets recently. He's even gone as far as being on CBS News and spoke about what happened. But I have this courtesy of WFAA, where he talked about fighting the shooter.
Still alive, and my family is not.
Police say without this man, this weekend's violence would have been so much worse. They say Rich Fierro and another person, Thomas James, stopped the gunman before police arrived, saving lives. The boyfriend of Fierro's daughter was one of the 5 killed.
Fierro agreed to share his story with reporters tonight. 9 News reporter Kelly Rickey was there, joins us now. Kelly.
Hey there, good evening. Richard Fierro was in the Army for over a decade. He describes what happened inside Club Q that night, a moment from war. He's back at home with his family, feeling guilty. 5 others can't do the same.
There are 5 people that I could not help, and one of which was family to me. Raymond was part of our family since my daughter was in high school.
People label Richard Fierro a hero. He calls it instinct.
I just know I got into mode, and I needed to save my family. And that family was, at that time, everybody in that room. And that's what I was trained to do.
Richard was at Club Q with his wife, daughter, and his daughter's boyfriend, Raymond Green Vance. They were dancing when a man wearing armor started shooting.
I wasn't thinking. I just ran over there, got him. I got to kill this guy. He's going to kill my kid. It's the reflex. Go to the fire. Stop the action. Stop the activity. Don't let no one get hurt.
Richard says he grabbed the man's pistol and began hitting him with it. Others rushed over to help.
One of the performers walked by or was running by, and I told her, kick this guy. And she took her high heel and stuffed it in his face.
He can't remember if the gunman said anything. His only focus was on protecting the people inside.
Nobody in that club asked to do this. Nobody in that club wanted to be shot.
17 people were shot. 5 others never made it out. One of them was his daughter's boyfriend, Raymond.
Thank God Raymond was smiling. He was dancing with my kid. And my daughter got to spend her last day with him happy. I tried to save people, and it didn't work for 5. Okay? There's 5 people that aren't home right now.
5 people who won't be with family this Thanksgiving. Police say it could have been worse without Richard's actions, but he wishes he could have done more.
But those people aren't home tonight. I am. And I'm really upset by that. That's not something I'm proud of.
Richard says police that night placed him into handcuffs and put him inside a patrol car, but he really has no hard feelings. He gets it, understanding that it was a chaotic situation as they were trying to sort everything out. Kyle?
What it really sounds like, Kelly, is when police arrived there, he was in a position where he was just absolutely, pistol whipping the you-know-what out of this guy. And he told New York Times he was covered in blood. The other guy was covered in blood. It was no doubt a chaotic scene when police first got there.
Yeah, and he even commented, when that officer showed up, he probably thought, oh my gosh, something crazy is happening here. And so, again, no hard feelings. He just said he needed to step in to protect his family and everyone else inside that club.
So fortunate he did. All right, Kelly Rinke, thank you.
So the Army man's instincts kicked in. Mr. Farrell's instincts kicked in. Now, what I'm looking at, even from the news and per my research, the reason the red flags didn't come up, you heard me mention the name change. Well, according to the police, they're even saying here, and I'm reading from the Washington Post, they're claiming that LGBTQ club shooting suspect's troubled past was obscured by a name change record show. After suffering online bullying as a boy, Anderson Lee Aldrich altered his identity. Because remember, his original name, he was known as Nicholas Brink, and he was living in San Antonio, according to public records. So remember, he was living with his grandparents. Now, he was charged. Now, what happened in 2021? He was arrested for an alleged bomb threat, one that prompted a partial evacuation of the Colorado Springs neighborhood where his mother lived at the time, and he was charged with kidnapping and felony menacing, but was never prosecuted for reasons that remain unclear. No bomb was ever found. Now, despite his run-ins with the law, Aldrich was in possession of at least one weapon, what they call here in the Washington Post a long gun, which he allegedly used in targeting customers and employees inside a nightclub, long seen as a safe haven for the city's gay and lesbians communities. Now, they got to go out the way of saying this. They say the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints confirmed in a statement to the Post that the alleged shooter was on the membership rolls of the church but had not been active in the Colorado Springs locations to the best of their knowledge. The church, which until 2019 described people in same-sex marriages as apostates, condemned the shooting. In a statement, the senseless act of violence in Colorado Springs is of great sadness and concern to us. We are greatly troubled by any violence in our communities and condemn most especially violent acts that are a result of intolerance against any of God's children. Now, there's been especially a break. What's up, computer robots? In many of these churches, I know here in Louisiana, the church United Methodist Church has been splitting up, it's been reported, and the cause of it happens to do with the acceptance of homosexual pastors. I'm always curious, why is it, when Okay. So they have to put this up. What's up, DeAndre Mosley, man? I didn't see you Saturday. I was looking for you. I actually recorded some of the video footage from that, guys, and I'm gonna do a little promotion of it because we want people to come back. We got another show on December 10th, but that's another story. But let's get back to this. My whole thing and my thinking is that the reason why he was not charged with anything back in 2021, my theory is that he had friends or his mother had friends in that
We
police
released that
department.
we have 5 deceased community members. That has not changed since yesterday. We have 17 community members who are injured because of a gunshot wound. We have 1 community member who is injured but not because of a gunshot wound. And we have 1 community member who was a victim with no visible injuries.
There have been reports in the media and in the public that charges have been filed. That is not true. It's important that if we have enough evidence to support bias-motivated crimes, to charge that. It's important for this community. It's important for the prosecution effort to show why something happened. And if there's enough evidence to support that in this case, when we get to the formal filing charges, we will absolutely be including those charges here as well. But I want to also be clear that the bias-motivated statute in Colorado, the highest level charge that we can get with that charge is a class 4 felony. We're obviously talking about 5 people that were killed. Their lives were ended. Those are going to be the top end charges in this case, without a doubt. Those charges will likely carry life in prison without parole, whereas the class 4 felonies are probation eligible offenses. So those do not in any way elevate the potential sentence in a case like this, but it is important to let the community know that we do not tolerate bias-motivated crimes in this community, that we support communities that have been maligned, harassed, and intimidated and abused. And that's one way that we can do that, showing that we will put the money where our mouth is, essentially.
This is your boy. I've got the fucking shitheads outside. Look at that. They got a beat on me. You see that right there? Fucking shitheads got their fucking rifles out. If they breach, I'm gonna fucking blow it to holy hell. So go ahead and come on in, boys. Let's fucking see it.
This is typical beta male behavior. This is beta male behavior. Now, I want to say this. Guys like this, assholes like this, terrorists like this, they prey on the weak. They prey on those that can't defend themselves. I don't know what Colorado's gun laws are offhand, but typically I can tell you, just as I know being in Louisiana, most people, the way that the law reads, especially even if you have a concealed carry permit, there are limits as to where you can bring a firearm. And having a place that sells or serves alcohol, on the way the law reads, is that there's an establishment that sells alcohol, you cannot be near the section where the alcohol is being distributed. They try to prevent people, guns and booze from mixing. Now, of course, if the establishment sells food, then that makes it a little bit different because it's a restaurant. But obviously, they try to keep guns. You're not allowed to bring that in the club. You have bouncers, you have guards who check people from coming in. And that probably wasn't done because he just came in and walked with what they call a long gun, which is an AR-15. I take it that was used based off what I'm hearing. Whenever we hear of the loss of life, it's a sad thing. It's a tragic thing. Whether I agree with the political ideologies or the movement that they are pushing, I certainly do not condone any act of violence. And it's sad to see young people. One of them was a bartender, Daniel Ashton, who moved from Tulsa, Oklahoma. His mom, I believe, is the one who actually spoke to who's in this video. You have Ashley Paul, age 35, Kelly Loving, Donald, Derek Rump, I'm sorry. And you also had Raymond Green Vance, 22, and you saw his Mr. Ferraro talk about him because that was his daughter's boyfriend. Now,
from, and I keep thinking it's so, it's a mistake. They've made a mistake, and that he's really alive. I just, he was such a, he lit up a room. It's this old expression, but he really did. He was just a happy child from always. He loved to laugh, and when he got old enough, he was always dressing up and putting weird hats on. These young people, and when all of them were young, they don't hurt anybody. They're just normal folk. Most of them have day jobs, and it's. I just don't understand why it would hurt anybody. It doesn't hurt anybody.
Yeah. May they rest in peace. I'm still upset that these people passed away the way and died the way that they did. A man. I don't even know what the pronoun is. I mean, it looks like even when I'm looking at this, there were some straight people that were in there too. So you saw the boy that was killed, the kid that was killed at 22 years old. He was straight. So they're at a gay nightclub for whatever reason, or gay friendly nightclub, and they still got killed. But yeah, it was a crash earlier, so I wasn't going to talk about that one. I was saving that for later.
Story for us, Nyla. What do we know? Well, Kate, Aaron, officials just identifying the victims as Charlotte meteorologist Jason Myers and helicopter pilot Chip Tyak. Both work for Charlotte CBS WTV. This afternoon near Interstate 77 South, WBTV just released a statement here saying the WBTV family is grieving a terrible loss. Our news helicopter Sky 3 crashed midday Tuesday with two of our colleagues on board. Meteorologist Jason Myers and pilot Chip Tyak lost their lives. We are working to comfort their families in this difficult time. We appreciate the outpouring of support for our staff and your continued prayers for their families. Authorities say pilot Tyak was a hero. Even in his final moments, they say it appears he purposely dodged the interstate in an attempt to avoid hitting anyone on the way down. And that's exactly what he did. It's incredible. And another thing here, too, is the other person inside the helicopter, the meteorologist, was working in his hometown. He actually grew up in the Charlotte area. And according to a station bio on the site, it says working at WBTV was a dream come true for him. It's the station he grew up watching. So just a sad accident here. Kate, Aaron.
Yeah, they had that helicopter crash out of North Carolina, so that's sad to hear. But these beta males, they prey on the weak. I think that more details are going to come. But I particularly think when that first incident happened last year, that's going to set everything off, because how did he avoid with all of these police officers out here? When you look at this, you look at these pictures that I have here when he came out the house. Why wasn't he charged with an even more serious? Why is he not in jail? Well, I think we have an answer to that. He had You look at this. They brought a SWAT team. They evacuated a block, and he dodged charges on this, guys. He had the complexion for the protection, as Paul Mooney would say. They're going to have to answer for this out there in Colorado Springs. But you let me all know what you think. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen, if you already. Donate to the Cash App and PayPal and Zelle at the bottom. We're going to go ahead and move on. What do y'all do? I'm going to ask the family what y'all doing for Thanksgiving a little bit later. But what are y'all plans made for Thanksgiving, actually? What are y'all planning on doing? Y'all just going to kick it with the fam? You're going to be traveling? What is your plans? What plate are you making? Now, I got to talk about this. Did y'all... I'm going to save this for later, but I was just looking at stuff, especially for some topics. There's something to be said about athletes, but this happened on ESPN Plus. Now, how many of you know, I'm just flipping through this, but you may or may not know who Ben Watson is. Ben Watson is a former tight end, is a retired tight end. He played for the New Orleans Saints. That's how I know him for several years. He played for the New England Patriots. He's out of Georgia. And this happened. He had a Chris Rock, Will Smith moment. It could have even gone even more violent than that by what this guy said. But I want to play this. You know, he made this slick remark to Benjamin Watson. Y'all listen to this.
45-20. By the way, did you not get the memo on the suits? We all went dark today. You're like Easter service.
Y'all kind of leave me out.
Stand it out,
man.
He
As
said
long
you got an Easter
as long as I get the text from my wife that says I look good.
Oh, really?
So send me the text, babe. Send me the text.
That's not the one she sent me. Outdoors.
Commercial live TV.
15 to 6.
Live TV.
Keep the man on the toes. Welcome back to the Farm Rich halftime report. Just you and I here, Taki. I'm not sure what happened to Peter Burns, or did you have him keep your wife's name out of his mouth?
Huh?
We'll see how Peter Burns is with.
Man, y'all know Watson could have slapped that dude's head off. But I'm talking about his wife.
That smart mouth in the second half.
But,
Gators do not get much going in the first half.
Not happy about it. Now, Benjamin Watson walked back. Burns was not back. So he cracked a joke about his suit. And then what Watson said was, as long as I get a text from my wife that says I look good, that send me the text, baby, send me the text. Because he wore a light suit and everyone else was wearing dark suits. So the host of the show, co-host, this Peter Burns, joked about Watson. And he responded, that's not the text he sent me, after he said, Watson said the remark he made. After Watson says, as long as he gets a text from his wife that it's okay, Burns says, that's not the text your wife sent me. Implying some innuendo, I guess. Now, you look here, that's Benjamin Watson. That's his family, beautiful family. They have 7 kids together. And I see someone wrote the epitome of F around and find out. Now, somebody wrote, not trying to defend the other guy, but I thought the joke he was trying to make was like, oh, your wife texted me and said you don't look good. Haha. Nah, I don't think so. Someone wrote, has anyone heard from Peter? Peter is missing. Now, interesting enough, Burns later posted a photo with Watson captioning the picture with friendship, #friendship. While Burns showed off a beaming smile in the photo, Watson didn't appear so pleased. So according to Sports Illustrated, Watson confirmed he was upset, but the former NFL player added that Burns owed his wife a public apology. He wrote this on his channel. I yeah, man, and he's laughing it up like he didn't. Watson would have destroyed this dude for that. You know, a lot of these sports analysts, they make these slick remarks to black athletes, and they try them because they know they're not going to do anything on the air, unless you're Mike Tyson, of course. Remember that infamous interview Mike Tyson had, and Mike Tyson, of course, was going to make mincework out of that black coon. He was trying to. Yeah, I'm still laughing at that. You're on live TV, Mike. I don't care. What you gonna do about it? I don't know. It's more nerve-wracking to talk to a white piece of shit like you.
Right. Is it nerve wracking for you to do something like this, or is it more nervous for you to box? How does it compare?
I don't know. It's more nerve wracking for me to hear us talking to a rat piece of shit like you.
Come on.
Not because you're a piece of shit.
All right.
You really didn't have to
We're gonna wrap up this interview. Thank you for coming in.
Fuck you.
Look at that. The ultimate burn. They always get a black coon, a black reporter to talk shit about black folk, especially when they want to ask a jagged question. If you remember that, I didn't play the whole video, but if you remember in that interview, Mike Tyson was promoting his one-man show a few years ago that he had been doing in Canada, and he happened to meet Rob Ford, who was the mayor of Toronto, if I'm not mistaken. That's where they were. And that reporter basically brought up Mike's criminal past, particularly his conviction for rape, and actually called him a convicted rapist. Like, why would you, there's a race for mayor, why would you be there with the mayor knowing that you're a convicted rapist? What do you think, how would that impact his campaign? And Mike didn't like it, to say the least. That's putting it mildly. And you saw how he reacted. He was thinking about putting hands on dude. I know, because he was, if you go back and look at the video after he said it, after the guy made the remark.
The character.
Right. So he read up
Big hit.
Now, some of your critics would say, there's a race for mayor. We know you're a convicted rapist. This could hurt his campaign. How would you respond to that?
Hey, I don't know who said that. You're the only one I heard say that. You know what I mean? And I don't have no comment to that, because it's negative and you're being negative. And I met the mayor,
right,
and nothing they can do about it.
We actually had a really good time. We talked about George Travalo. He was a legend in your city, great man with whom Mike spent quite a bit of time yesterday talking about his life, highs and lows.
It's so interesting that you come across like a nice guy, but you're really a piece of shit.
Hey,
with that comment.
Come on.
No, that was a piece of fuck you. That was a piece of shit.
We're doing live TV.
And I don't care. What are you gonna do about it?
All right, you got.
The manager's like, the manager was like, all right, well, look at the manager again, y'all.
You come across like a nice guy, but you're really a piece of shit.
Hey,
with that comment. No, that was a piece of fuck you. That was a piece of shit.
We're doing live TV.
And I don't care. What are you gonna do about it?
All right, you got
it. The guy was like, guy knew it was a bad remark. But this is what black athletes go through. But they always get a black Negro to do stuff. And speaking of Negro, I got to bring this up. Because Yes, y'all can tell already because I talked about it. But we got to go at Charles Barkley because Sir Charles Barkley, personally, especially when we talk about black people, they always got to bring this Negro to say the most negative things about blacks.
What happened? Always seemed pretty at peace.
He's hold on. I'm gonna send you a clip. Keep talking. I'm gonna send you a clip, and it's gonna change your whole world.
Uh-oh.
Don't bother me, because there's some hot white.
I'm just looking, man, they got a lot of shit on Twitter.
What I'm saying is, when you talk about me, don't sum me up.
Facts, right?
Don't sum me up on the worst side of me or what you consider the worst side of me. Because ain't nobody fucking perfect. So don't do that. That's what we're not gonna do. Because as a man, guess what? I got to stand on mine too. Because guess what? Let me tell you something. I didn't go to college. Guess what?
Fine.
I want my kids to go to college. So we can say that right now. I don't want them to go that direction. I want them to go to college. I can say that with you too.
Right.
But don't sit here in front of the world, in front of a medium, and say, "Oh, I wouldn't want my son or your sons to be like you." Hold on. No, we got you gonna put some respect on my name. Because at the end of the day, I'm successful. I take care of my kids. Ain't none of my kids out here in dire need of love and support. So we're gonna do that. Okay? Because I don't appreciate that. Because there's some things about you that I could say I wouldn't want my daughters to do.
Go ahead.
I'm not gonna do that. I respect you and I love you enough.
I want this magazine to know
I
what
respect
it is about me. You
integrity.
don't want your daughters
I'm not gonna do that.
like. You should.
I'm not gonna do that.
Be my guest.
I'm not
gonna be slighted, honey.
I'm not gonna do that. That's where we have to draw the line.
Okay.
Because I don't care because the camera in front of me or somebody asking me questions. I'm not gonna reveal my everything that go on with me. Just like right now, you ain't gonna sit here in front of these people and tell what your credit score is. You ain't gonna sit here and tell them your social security number. You ain't gonna sit here and tell them what's in your bank account either.
I won't.
Okay, so some things are better left fucking unsaid and in the private, and that's what I'm gonna do. So when you addressing me.
So Young Jock's wife just flat out disrespected him, saying in front of on site.
Don't ever make it seem like I'm the worst of the worst, because I'm not.
Okay.
Because I came through and changed your life, and it wasn't about me having no money. It was about the integrity. It was about my integrity, and that's what I'm gonna do. So when you addressing me, don't ever make it seem like I'm the worst of the worst, because I'm not.
Okay.
Because I came through and changed your life, and it wasn't about me having no money. It was about the integrity. It was about my integrity. It was about me standing up for you. It was about me helping you open your eyes to see things that no other man has gotten you to do. So when you talk about me and address me, please be mindful of that, because I love you for who you is, your life, and it wasn't about me having no money. It was about the integrity. It was about my integrity. It was about me standing up for you. It was about me helping you open your eyes to see things that no other man has gotten you to do. So when you talk about me and address me, please be mindful of that, because I love you for who you are, good and bad.
You know I love you for who you are.
But I would never say to the world that I wouldn't want my daughters to be like you, because then it makes me question why. You with me?
I'm not with you for.
I don't know what's it's acting up, but damn, that was bad. But what I was going to talk about,
and growing up, it really.
So Charles Barkley found the opportunity, which seems like all the time, to open up his big fat mouth, which we know there's no brain controlling what he's saying, to insult the black community. So this is what he said. Now, I don't know what he was commenting on CNN in the morning. I don't know if it had anything to do with the shooting in Colorado whatsoever, but this clip has gone viral and he's caught a lot of backlash for this.
And one thing has always disappointed me, black people treat gay people, we are the worst when it comes to treating gay people. And that's one thing growing up, it really always bothers me. And I want to reach out to you and all my gay friends, all my transgender friends, and tell you, man, I got nothing but love and respect for you. I want you to be you. And I wanted you to know that day, because I understand being black, what it's like being gay, because you get mistreated, and it's really unfortunate and sad and stupid, to be honest with you.
Honestly, Charles, you don't know what it's like to be black because you don't see yourself as black.
And one thing has always disappointed me, black people treat gay people.
Black people, one thing of disappointment that black people, they treat gay people, they can't treat gay people the worst of the worst. Never mind, okay, never mind having all of the churches, like I just talked about, that for years stated homosexuality was a sin. They banished people from, homosexuals from the church, from these churches. You have, and technically speaking, the church actually is probably the most gayest thing in the world, because if you go into a typical black church, just in general, I'm thinking you're gonna see a gay choir director. You're gonna have gay people in the choir singing. And for you to generalize an entire race, this is not somebody who has never been a black person. It's not black people that are doing these mass shootings. You're right, Derek. It's not black people going into Pulse nightclub or Club GQ and killing people. We've had and lived around James Baldwin, Little Richard, Sylvester. You can name a few. Offhand, I can think of that I know. And while I will say this, black people are conservative, I think that's a fair argument to make. And yes, we typically do not accept the behavior, like a man acting like a woman or vice versa, or even a man dressing like as transgender, and they try to say that's different, which okay, I have no argument there. But people that believe they're boys and really a girl and vice versa, we don't accept that behavior because it's a behavior. It's not the same as a race. These are not a race of people. These are a group of people who believe in a certain ideology. They have practiced things in their bedroom based on their sexuality. That all involves behavior. That does not involve race. Like me, my skin color is not something that I determined when I was born. That's in my genetic code. And contrary to popular opinion, and I might get kicked off YouTube for saying this stuff, but there has not been, to my knowledge, officially anything that has proven that people are born homosexual or lesbian. What I have seen and what I've known from the research that I've looked at, and you can go look at, read this for yourself, is that it's mostly from their environment. Because there are people who are gay who were gay and now are married to women, married to someone of the opposite sex, that have started families. That has happened. They have people who regret getting gender assignment surgery. That's happened. But they put him on CNN, and notice they're putting Charles Barkley on CNN when they're doing election results. Look at all what they've got posted at the bottom. What are they bringing Charles Barkley?
We are the worst when it comes to treating gay people. And
we are the worst when it comes to treating everything. Say ahead of time, everything black people do, they are the worst. But you know, everything.
That's one thing growing up.
Street clothes. It go back to street clothes. Anthony Davis. So this bootlick has to open his mouth. This is the same man, mind you, who got on CNN and stated that he didn't think slavery was that bad. He said he didn't believe slavery was that bad. Willie D called him out for this shit. I'll never forget, he said, I'll never forget him saying that because Kenny the Jet Smith even wrote a letter criticizing Charles over his remarks when he was talking about Ferguson. What have these Negroes done? If it were not for a game, ladies and gentlemen, Charles Barkley is from Leeds, Alabama. Do you think Charles Barkley has the mental capacity?
It really always bothers me. And I want.
Do you think this has the face to be a doctor? Would you want, if you had to have if you had to have emergency surgery, is this the man that you want talking like this to cut open your rib cage and work on your heart? Because I'm talking like this. And it's like every time I open your heart, black people, y'all got the worst arteries in your heart. Personally, it's the worst I've seen, Kenneth. He looks confused about what he's even saying. Would you want, ladies, would you want this as your gynecologist? Okay, I need you to lay on the table and spread your leg open because personally, I got to stick this, I got to perform this pap smear just to do this for you ladies and check and see. And it's all nasty. This all smell like Anthony Davis upper lip. This smell like street clothes eyebrow. Like this is just bad. That's what Charles Barkley. That's what y'all would have now. This is. And they go to him because they know they use these black athletes because they know they're not going to be seen as racist if they have a black person saying this. And you know, Charles Barkley went to Baltimore because TNT was actually trying to get him to do a show about race, and those people ran his ass out. I'm not gonna play. I don't know if I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get a copyright strike if I play all of this, but I'm trying to find it. But Kenny Smith called out Charles Barkley for what he did by praising what was the police department and what was going on in Ferguson. But this is what happened.
And referring to the looters and those who set fires in Ferguson as you put it, scumbags. Kenny's written an open letter to Charles, which appeared in USA Today. I'll start with you too. Now that you're face to face on our air.
Yeah, we were face to face last night.
Well,
we were together actually. Yeah. Let me say this. Maybe I shouldn't have used the term scumbags, but it's irrelevant. There's no justification for what they did. If I'd have said crooks, thugs, or whatever, still, what they did was 100% wrong. The only problem, me and Kenny, it's all right to disagree. I respect him. He knows I love him like a brother. We've had this conversation. You know, the decision in Ferguson, I went by the evidence. I didn't say anything. I didn't go by the initial media reports. When I looked at the grand jury testimony, I know something bad happened. And I said, I understand, whether you agree or disagree, I understand why they not indict the officer. But there's no excuse for those people burning their houses and cars and setting the police on cars on fire. Listen, I think it does a disservice. We got a lot of race baiters out there. And my goal in life is to, being from Alabama, to always be able to have an open and fair dialogue on race. My grandmother, the greatest person ever, always told me, you judge every person on their own individual merits. All black people ain't great. All white people ain't evil. The only problem I had with Kenny's open letter was, I don't think anytime something black happens in the black community, we got to talk about slavery. Listen, slavery is, well, I shouldn't say one of the worst things ever, because I don't know anything about it other than what I read or what my grandmother told me. And we as black people, my grandmother told me, slavery. Listen, slavery is, well, I shouldn't say one of the worst things ever, because I don't know anything about it other than what I read with my grandmother.
So he said it out of his own mouth. He said, only what my grandmother told me. Can't say it was one of the worst things ever. Why do we gotta run to slavery? Like, that's the only thing I disagree with Erna. That's the only thing I do disagree with Kenneth on.
My mother told me, and we as black people, we need the cops in our community. They're not there just to, quote unquote, kill black men, or they're there to protect us. And we as black people, we've got to develop a relationship with them. And that was my point throughout the entire thing. And you know, and I actually touched on the Eric Garner thing, because I think what happened to that man was awful. But I understand they shouldn't have went for murder, is what I have said. It should have been manslaughter or aggravated assault. But I never thought they were going to indict that cop on murder. And that's the only thing I had to say about it. So Kenny, go ahead.
Why did you feel compelled, Kenny, to write the open letter to Chuck?
Well, I thought, firstly, you know, when I contacted Chuck, I said, you know what? I get so many calls when you say something or I say something that I have to respond or think, what do you say? What do you think about it? I said, we always feel like we're married to the hip. But I thought in this instance, it was so big and so socially, economically important that I separated myself in certain instances of what I felt and not always joined at the hip. So, and Charles and I talked about it. He knew I was going to write it. And the biggest thing that I felt was that a lot of times Charles's insight, a lot of times get misconstrued with other people's insight in the same way of knowing what it is about the subject as an expert, so to speak. And that's not his fault. And that's why, and when you read the letter, that's what I said. And Chuck, just to kind of reiterate, I also don't agree that slavery, anything should be brought in this issue. And that's what I said in the letter as well. I think the biggest aspect is it's a lack of trust in the African-American community, which is actually caused by poor economic situations, poor recreational situations, and poor education.
Now, here's the thing with Kenny the Jet Smith. Now, out of all three of the athletes that sit up there, he's probably the only one that you could say has a voice of reason and is intellectual, that you can hold an intellectual conversation with him. And I have seen him, especially when the situation happened out in Wisconsin and the players and the NBA boycotted playing. They didn't feel like playing. Kenny the Jet Smith walked off the air, but he was being very polite. But he started off with that letter, if you all remember, praising Charles Barkley as the greatest power forward to ever play the game. Well, I think Karl Malone, me personally, I think Tim Duncan and Karl Malone have something to say about that. Because I think Barkley was a great underachiever. He went to that team in Houston, wrecked that team. He didn't like Scott. He and Scottie Pippen couldn't get along. Scottie Pippen said, "You a fat motherfucker that don't work out. You don't exercise. You don't have no work ethic." Jordan always criticized him. In fact, he even said that he and Jordan haven't spoken in almost 10 years. Can you blame Michael? He don't even want to be around this dumb baloo. I hope Corey Holcomb tonight. I hope Corey Holcomb. I know Corey Holcomb's going to ether him on the 5150 show for saying this shit. Because Barkley always got to open his mouth. They put him on TNT. They put him, Stephen A. Smith, on ESPN and Shannon Sharp on Fox. All of these Negroes up there to say the stuff that they could not say without being labeled racist. They got to get athletes. The athlete is nothing. He's nothing. The average athlete right now, and I'm not disrespecting all people that play sports. It's not the point I'm making. But when it comes to, and let me be specific, when it comes to to making socio-political commentary, you cannot rely, Black people, on athletes that look like you to speak for you, is the point I'm making. It's not going to be good. They're going to let you down. So when Charles Barkley says this stuff, when they get Stephen A. Smith to make remarks like this, it's not surprising. And he needs to face backlash for this. We got to start checking these coons. We got to start checking I tell y'all, we got to start checking these sellouts. We got to tax them to the game. Because Barkley keeps getting away with this stuff. They bring him on CNN. We need to boycott these networks when they start bringing these people on. You talking dirty about us? Get them out. Like, one thing I can respect about the Jewish community, you speak negative about them in any way, and we may have issues with the way they can't, some of them may not take constructive criticism or whatever, but I can say this, they don't tolerate it to the point where they're going to make you apologize. They're not going to make you apologize. They're going to take your money from you. They're going to take your job. They stay on code. You're not going to disrespect us and get away with it. And I got one last final topic I'm going to talk about. They're talking about a huge age gap. I got to move on because I got to get out of here in a little bit, guys. It's getting a little late. But there's a huge age gap right now concerning this election that's going on in Georgia. I thought I would share this with y'all. This is coming from the Hill. They're reporting that, according to an AARP poll, that people over the age of 50 are more in favor of Herschel Walker the older they are. It has a margin of error 3.3 percentage points among respondents 50 and older. Respondents aged 65 or older favor Walker over Warnock by 13 points, while that lead shrinks to 4 percentage points among those aged 50 to 64. So black voters over the age of 50 and up defer in preference from their age group overall. However, with Warnock holding an 83-point lead over Walker, among such respondents, the margin of error for that group was 4.9 percentage points. Overall, Warnock leads in the poll of all age groups by 4 percentage points, despite voters age 50 and older constituting more than 60% of likely runoff voters. Georgia vote. All right. Of course, they're going to throw him out like Chaz, but Walker is going to pull it off, according to my brother Darius from Atlanta. So, by a poll, ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you all, how many of you do you think who will win the election in Georgia? For U.S. Senate in Georgia? Walker is at the top, Warnock at the bottom. I think he's going to pull it off. Just based off what I saw from those numbers, it was extremely close. Raphael Warnock is not someone you run home to. Now, they say he's not a he's not the puppet that Herschel Walker is. But Warnock, essentially, he's just the smarter puppet because everything he's doing, he's got to align with the Democratic Party. All right, I got my results in. It looks like only 2 people. Most of you are saying I got 2 votes. People, come on, we got more people in here that could vote. Right in my chat on channel GBoo2786, ladies and gentlemen. Who you think is going to win, Warnock or Walker? I got 3 people saying Walker right now. Come on, no Warnocks yet. This is going to be a close one, guys. I really think, don't be surprised if oh boy pulls it off. But I'm going to wrap this up, man. We got stuff to do. What are y'all doing for Thanksgiving, by the way? Well, whatever y'all are doing, I will not be on Thursday, but we're going to likely have a pre-recorded show for you all that we're going to be shooting. I'll have Sean on and maybe another guest. And we're going to talk about a couple of different things. A special edition of Random Topic Thursdays, which will air on Thursday for Thanksgiving. So y'all probably may be able to check that out a little bit later. Danielle says nothing, so you're going to be at home with the kids. Doing nothing. All right. DeAndre said working. Derek said probably nothing. Oh, we'll just keep it in easy. Nobody's traveling. I gotta make some mac and cheese. So that's what I'm gonna be doing tomorrow. Darius will be doing, okay, so Darius is gonna be doing Nathan. All right. All right, that's a little too much information, Darius, but cool. All right. Oh man, I want to say this too. I was so sad. Have y'all seen the pictures that's been going around? There's been an effort to raise money and to help Sinbad right now, because Sinbad has suffered a stroke back in 2020, and he's been fighting and recovering to walk again. He's fighting for his life. So learning how to walk again. So I was so sad to see, yeah, man, Sinbad. Yeah, man, that broke my heart to see Sinbad like that. He had blood clots going to his brain. So what's happening essentially, family is trying to raise money for him because his insurance doesn't cover all his medical bills. But I remember in the 90s when Sinbad was the man. Sinbad had his special that he did in the islands where he would have R&B artists. He had all of those HBO specials. He had specials on. He had a Comedy Central. That was great. Just an outstanding comedian. I saw him perform live out in Baton Rouge at the Lurch Casino, and he had me and my father rolling for a whole hour. That's great. That's talent. But Sinbad, please, brother, get well soon. He did have some tax problems. He had filed, I think, for bankruptcy twice. He filed for Chapter 11 in like 2011, and then I think a couple of years previous to that, 2009, if I'm not mistaken, or 2008. Yeah, he's always had some tax problems. But it's always sad when you see somebody like that. But yeah, he's fighting for his life. I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that. I 57% of you say Walker is going to win. 43% say Warnock. Yeah, Sinbad had, he had a lot of issues. But we're going to wrap this up, guys, because I got to run. But, he had Chapter 13, and he was almost $11 million in debt. Yeah. All right, we're going to wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go ahead, close out, get ready for some Get On Up. But you all will tune in. We'll be back. I'm going to talk about that tomorrow for the special about Kelly Rowland on Cole defending Chris Brown. How they canceled Chris Brown's performance when he was performing a tribute to Michael Jackson. It's going to be a tribute to Thriller. As you know, Thriller made its 40th anniversary this year, and they were going to do a performance for Michael, and they canceled it at the last minute. And Kelly Rowland was presenting an award for Best R&B Artist, and Chris Brown won, and there were people booing, and she clapped back. And shout out to her for that. But what they did to Chris Brown was wrong. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. But you all, in the meantime, smash up the likes, ladies and gentlemen. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Go to my to Amazon Kindle and get The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in the United States. Please donate to the Cash App and PayPal and Zelle. And we're going to see you in the next one. Get Video Soul and Gotta Get On Up, ladies and gentlemen. All right. We'll go ahead and wrap this up. It's time to get on up. Get out of here. Good night, guys.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, because on the dance floor is where we'll live. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide on two. Hit the bus stop. I'll do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something and feel the groove. Get on the floor. Get on the. Now 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe and you achieve. And so if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll feel the groove. Get on the floor. Get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something and feel the groove. Get on the floor. Get on the floor, baby. Yeah, gotta get on. Come on, baby, gotta get on. Baby, feel the groove. Get on the floor. Get on up.
Seven votes for, so far, Raphael Warnock losing to Herschel Walker, according to y'all. Good night, family.